Hello, my peeps. I'm drinking my tea. Again, I get caught all the time. Actually, I don't even know if I get caught because I'm really not too concerned. It's not like I'm doing anything weird. I'm just drinking tea. I'm just, look at me, ahead of the game. I'm giving my system a chance to catch up. I don't wanna jinx anything and say I'm all prepared for today. But I just went and like sat in the other room and had my supper and watched some Bridgerton. I I don't know. It seems I'm trying to think if I actually know the answer. It seems like it's been a couple of years between season 2 and season 3. Now I'm going to guess it probably hasn't been that long. Just feels like it. I don't actually think I know. I imagine I could look and I would be able to find out and see if I can do two things at once. Um, Although there's something weird with Netflix. I'm in at home. Last time I tried to log in, I think on my iPad, and it told me that they were keeping track of where I lived, and this wasn't my was this didn't register as my home, but I like to connect to my home network, and I thought I'm on my home network to get this message. What else would you like me to do? So yeah, no, it's doing some weird thing on the phone. Oh, it did come up. Look how weird that is. Okay, let's see. Anyways, my point is that it feels like it has been years in between. There we go. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I was going to figure out how to make it tell me what year it is. I don't know. Okay, anyways. Um, I've already watched the first half of the thing. Now I can't figure out how to get out of it. Sorry. I should know better than to try that. Yeah, I can't figure out how to do half the things, so why do I try to do them live? Yeah, I'm there's only 8 episodes in the season, and I watched all 4 of them in the last 2 days. While I was cleaning though. I'm like purging and cleaning, getting all the stuff ready for our retired product sale, and just getting the stuff turned over. Can you tell? Gotta figure which way to lean. You see that one lonely little stamp set right here? That's from the winter holiday mini catalog. As demonstrators, we get to order early, and then below it is the annual catalog stuff. And then I guess I gotta go this way. I don't think I can lean that far enough that way. This is the online exclusives. Oh, I was backwards anyways. This is all the annual catalog. From here up is still retired product that I just can't bear to part with. All my dies are organized down here. They're just on screen. I didn't have the energy to stand on Sunday. My one knee and my one ankle, killing me after a very, very awesome Saturday at our spring extravaganza. And but I sat at my desk and I was productive. I even see if I can. So I can't figure which way to go. Everything seems backwards. I even organized my binders, and instead of just knowing what color they were and hoping that I remembered, I actually used some of our little mini alphabet dies, I think is the right name, and put like little actual like words on the sides of them. Oh my goodness, I was just on a roll. And the more I cleaned and organized, the better it felt. Oh, it was awesome. Okay, on with the show. Hi everybody, Tracy here. Yep, I've been rambling for 4 minutes because I was early and I wanted to let my comments and see my comments are up now. I can see them. So today I talked for 4 minutes. Now I need a drink. Let's just change my camera view while we do that. Okay, it is Tuesday with Tracy. It's the same camera, but I get 3 different views. Like this one, it goes lower, the other one goes higher, the other one goes different. I don't understand technology. Okay, where am I? My desk is remarkably clean right now. I mean, it's not. It could still use some work, but I gotta figure out. I think I'm actually got a system for where I can put stuff. Okay, so like I said, this weekend was our spring extravaganza, and it was fantastic. Spirit, I love to do them. They're so much fun. It's so nice. There's a lot of work leading up to it, and then on the actual day of, we just get to we actually go the night before, get everything set up, and then on the day of the thing, we just get to like see everybody and chat and have snacks, and it's just such a good day. Yeah, it was most enjoyable. In the past, we have been asked if, sorry, I just hit some button and made everything move. I don't know what I lost my comment section somehow. Just a minute. Not actually sure what I hit. Eh, who knows? Okay. In the past, we have been asked if we sell PDFs of our projects. And I have one for this year. It gives you all the, like the, try to get it close enough you can actually read something. Gives you all the cut measurements, shows you some pictures, gives you some instructions, the whole bit. So those you can get by sending a message to the, with 2 E's, paper pusher at shaw.ca, or, and I can't remember Tamara's email off the top of my head. Let's just make it easy and stick with my email address. That's where all the registrations go. Let's just do it that way. Or message Tamara and tell her that you want one, and as long as we have your address, we can take care of that. And then the ETF, they're $10, and the ETF goes to that same address, the paper pusher. As a bonus, and I don't actually know where they are, you'll get the PDF, but you'll also get a link to a Pinterest page that has better, like, not better pictures. It's the same pictures. You can just only get so much, a little tiny box that has the pictures loaded on it, as well as a little bonus of the, I forgot what the product line was called, the mix and match ones. That was something we did with this on Saturday, and I think I made 18 cards with it in a matter of a couple hours. I was having lots of fun with those. So anyways, yeah, we have those, and I'll send you the link to that too as a bonus. So contact either myself or Tamara, and then, or send a note or a $10 ETF to e-transfer ETF, the paper pusher at shaw.ca. So these are the cards. These are just, sometimes there's just different versions. That's card number 1. Oh, just a minute. Card number 2. I have like 10 envelopes behind that one. And then there's lots of different versions on the, depending on DSP for card number 3. But yeah, it's got all the measurements and the how-tos and the whatever. So that's one of them. Let's see, I have so many things. I have like all these little piles of things. And I'm always trying to not knock anything anywhere while I do it. Now, we have already started planning the Christmas extravaganza, thanks to our fearless leader, Tamara, who went on the incentive trip and got to see a sneak peek of stuff. Oh, the suite that's coming in the online exclusives is so beautiful. And both of us instantly looked at it and went, extravaganza. So the information is already posted. Sorry, the dog is in the, where'd my phone go? The dog is right next to me. Sorry, we're having just another squirrel moment there for you. I took this just before I started because I thought it was so funny. He's had such a rough day. This is the dog. This is what I see. If I look that way, he's just outside the door, like across, like against the wall, but outside the door to my office. He's like half in his bed, half out. And I don't know if you can hear him, but I can hear him snoring now. So he's exhausted from his, day of supervising me. Anywho, the information for Christmas extravaganza is posted. We have the in-person option. We have a porch pickup option. Where do I have that? Up here. Porch pickup option if you're local, but can't make the day. And a Canada Post option for long distance. Now, this is what we know so far. This is greetings of the season. So this is the stamp set we're going to use. And everybody's registration includes one of these stamp sets. I mean, look at that thing. It is awesome. Happy, Merry Holidays, New Year, Christmas, wishing you and yours. And then fancy fonts for most of those things. And then what does this one say? May your holiday be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Just so you know, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's also the perfect sentiment to put on end of the year teacher cards. I did that one year, and the teachers loved it when my son was in elementary school. So yeah, the main option gets you this stamp set, some embellishments, and projects made with, oops, just a minute, with these awesome papers. Now, because we have to see all the stuff. We don't 100% know everything yet. We have to see all the stuff, but she saw some of the things. So made with these papers. Now, depending how it all plays out, you might get a package of this specialty paper in like just a full package of it in with your order, or we might just use it on the projects. We're not sure. There'll be an option to get the bundle, and you get it at the bundle price. So you save yourself 10% if you were just going to buy it anyways, plus all the other stuff. or the sweet offer. The sweet offer's a sweet offer. And this is the second bundle that is in the sweet. And it's, you want to know what's really funny? Both Tamara and I saw salt and pepper shakers. So I will for sure be making a salt and pepper card. I don't know why. Maybe it'll just be a friendship card that says we go together like salt and pepper. But I don't know. It's funny that we both saw them. Anyhow, we'll make Christmas cards. But yeah, this this will be some of the dies and the stamps that they were using as well. But anything you need, you will have between this stamp set and all the stuff we put in the bin. You'll have everything you need. But anyways, and more information at the beginning of June, like in the final pricing and stuff, because right now we're just speculating on everything. And then the deadline is going to be the end to register. Well, the initial deadline is going to be the end of June. I want to say 27th. Did I write it on there somewhere? Nope, 17th. For the early bird draw. So you can register for the regular like registration, and if you're before the 17th, you get a chance to win the set of dies to go with it. And if you've already ordered those, we'll just refund or replace another set of dies. And then yeah, we're not going to take any registrations after August, but the thing is, after our June deadline, we can't 100% guarantee that all of this stuff will be available because it is online exclusives. And even with catalog stuff right now, people are buying like crazy. The products are awesome. The prices are good. Everybody likes to craft. I don't know. We have a ton more new people joining Stampin' Up. There's between the Close to My Heart makers, welcome makers, and the awesome starter kit offer and stuff. There's just so many more people getting into Stampin' Up that stuff's just like flying off the shelves. So yeah, the preference would be register early because then we can get this. We'll have more time to do this. We won't have like a 2-week turnaround like we did this time. So we're ordering it a bit early. It's going to be awesome. And it is on the 19th of October. Did I say that? Save the date, 19th of October. I seem to be going backwards, I just realized, in the events. Our 13th of July is our Stampin' Up! Retired product sale. It was pointed out to me this weekend that I wrote it's in the Rendezvous Center in Morinville, but I never put an address. Now, Morinville is small enough, you probably could just find it anyways, but I will put an address on the next one. If you put in, I think in Google it comes up as the Rendezvous Senior Center, but I think if you put Rendezvous Center Morinville, you're going to get it anyways. It is just like one block, I don't even think it's a full block south of Main Street, right by the railroad tracks. More information will come out about that, but if you want to get a reminder and more information, well, see, there's my email address I gave you earlier, thepaperpusher@shaw.ca. I do the paperwork for the TNT events, so if all else fails, you can always send me a message. And then I do have one more in-person event coming before the summer. And because I started on a cleaning spree this weekend, I never did get my summer school stuff ready, but it'll be ready for Friday. The last in-person one, the other one is a Zoom one, is Midweek Escape, 20th of June. That's Thursday night. You get the most delicious drink. And she's got some fruit smoothies now. Oh my goodness, they were good. And coffee and espresso and some protein shakes. And there you've got a wide assortment of things. And we'll make some cards. Anyways, let me know if you want more details on all of those and registration links. I have them on my Facebook page, but the easiest way to find them is really just to subscribe to my newsletter because I post them everything more than once there. Okay. Now let's get to the fun stuff. Not that that's not fun stuff, but I'm just so stoked. I have my catalog. Can you tell? I have my catalog. Yeah, the dog is like falling out of his thing. How do I want to show you this? Okay, which one did I show the picture of? I think I showed a picture of this. So this gorgeous little birdhouse die made the cutest little treats. And I did. I bought this set. Okay, here, I gotta put this down for a second because I won't be able to do everything at once. I bought this set because it had, like, I saw this and then I saw these dies. Just a minute, my little circle fell off. It had these dies. And as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh my God, those are going to make the best treat holders. And I envisioned it in my head. And the fact that it came out how I envisioned it, I was very excited. These ones, excuse me, I'm going to have to give myself a drink again. I made with the country wood paper. There's many more ways to do it, but I saw them. I saw them with the country wood paper and that. Now, as it turns out, you can use the dies and the stamps for more than just making treat holders. And if you know me, you think you'll understand that, because I love to make the 3D things, particularly treat holders. So I did make, this is with the country lace paper. And in this case, well, I got a good prop. You can see that the house is actually bigger than the card. All I did was I trimmed off, like I cut this little, like the food tray is what I'm thinking it, the seed tray. I cut it off like just straight across, and then I just moved it up so that the birdhouse was a little bit shorter because I wanted it to fit in my little circle. So yeah, I love this card. This card I got a little carried away. I'm not gonna lie. I was doing it, and I had like the circles, and I had a sketch is what I had. I don't even know where I got the sketch from, but I had this sketch that I wanted to do with these 3 circles, and then I had the whole thing going, and I love this card. It's a little bit elaborate, but I love it. And then I wanted to make a card that did not involve the birdhouse itself, because it does have these really cute florals in it. It has some great dies, again, with the paper. And to me, I have like my little trellis with the flowers on it, my little funky trellis. But yes, I also saw, when I saw this, I also did see a gingerbread house. So, see, and this gives you the idea. This one, same thing. I just cut the seed tray off. The seed tray would go like this. Perhaps not this color. So I just cut it off, and there we go. I can see making a haunted house out of this. I can see Happy New Home. I see all sorts of little things with this die. But yes, mostly I saw a birdhouse treat holder. I'm just going to knock all my stuff over. So yeah, lots of fun ways to use it. So if you're thinking, you can't do much with that, no, you can do all sorts of things. And if nothing else, you can make the cutest bird. You can make the cutest treat holder. Okay. So I'm going to show you how I put it together. But first, I'm going to show you another version of it, because I can't stop making them. And this one got even fancier than the other ones, because not only did I make this, and look at this lovely wood grain here, and decorated it, but I completely decorated the back. I put on like the whole thing on there. I put another tray on the back. I put some flowers. These ones, I did put the paper on the back, and I'll explain that in a bit. So I have one that just had the paper on the back, and then I decided, no, it's too plain. So then I threw a couple flowers on the back. So each time I'm like a little bit more elaborate as I go, but we're going to try a couple different things here as we go. But anyways, I just love these little birdhouses. In case you were wondering, these are the Merci. I have no idea how old these chocolates are. These are just like, I have a whole bunch of candy in like boxes in my office that I use for sizing and to show how it works. Lord knows how old these chocolates are, but these are Merci chocolates. And because this is not like completely square, you'll notice, can I get this to go? Here we go. They keep doing that. I'm trying to figure out how to make it not, oh, I can't. So they're not like super snug in here. They're snug at the bottom. They're just not snug at the top. But I have 4 of those little Merci fingers in there. You can't have anything wider than this, which is an inch and a half, inch and a quarter, if you want it to, if you want to go all the way to the bottom. So that's how that's working. In this one, I put a airplane cookies. I gotta look at them because I forgot the name. I always call them airplane cookies, then I forget the name of them. Biscoff, the little 2-pack Biscoff, and a tea bag. I had to put the tea bag in first and bend it a little, and then put the cookies in, but I did. And these ones are nice and snug. These ones aren't going anywhere. This one, I just threw some candies in. These are humbugs. I love humbugs. They're some kind of old-fashioned candy. I don't even know what they are. They're just good. So, and this one, I probably could put more stuff in here, but they would tend to fall out because like I reached the maximum, like I reached the edge of the little box part. Anyway, so I have that one. Oh, and then the ones from this weekend, there's these lovely Ghirardelli chocolates at Costco. And there's actually 2 of them you can't quite see, because one of the other options for making this was to make it a hanging birdhouse, right? So I could, no, it's the wrong angle to see, but I could hang it up, right? Because then it becomes like a really cute little decoration. I will tell you that I tried several different things to make this so that, here's one of my favorite words, so that the bow wasn't all kitty wampus. Because it kept going like up, like sideways, like turned. It was not working. So, because I thought, well, I should be able to loop it through and just tie the bow here. No, and I tie the bow here and move it. No. So I ended up just putting a loop of thread. This is not thread, a loop of ribbon through and just giving it the old, granny knot at the top. And then I took a separate smaller piece of ribbon and made a cheater bow and just tied it around this. So like this would slide. But anyways, because then that way I got the bow facing the way that I want it to. So now when it hangs and it looks like this. And I love it. I was going to do that with all the treats for this weekend. I had to make 40 of them. 40? Yeah, about 40. But I couldn't bring myself to punch a hole in the gingerbread molding details. But in the end, I just finally did and thought, no, because I want to see what it looks like hanging. And yes, I do love the look of this. So, and I can see, and I will be making more of these at Christmas, I will. But I can see putting a red cardinal here. Even, I don't know if cardinals would, maybe they go in the birdhouse. I always see them, kind of picture them in my brain as more wild birds, but with a bit of holly and making these more Christmassy colors with a bit of holly or a little pointed setter. I don't know. Anyways, I see these as being awesome. You could have a whole set of these spring, summer, winter, fall. Oh, goodness. Anyways, I'm having so much fun with these darn birdhouses. Okay, so for today, a couple things to show you. So let's go back to this one. As you can tell, this is not made, or maybe you can tell if I can get it close enough. This is not made with DSP. This is made with, oh, I can't get it to go, textured paper. Yeah, I'll show you this first, and I'll go back to the other. I kind of missed a part there, but I'll show you in a minute. So this is textured paper. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, we have textured paper? Yep. It looks like this. Which, unless you're looking at it really closely, it just looks like a 12 by 12 sheet of, well, minus the strip I took off it, but it just looks like a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, of white paper. But even with the cellophane, you can see the texture. So the reason I have my catalog out is to show you that on page 100 of said new catalog, mine being coiled, most of them not being coiled, see down here in the corner where it just says wood textured 12 by 12 paper, page 100. It's really hard to miss. But this paper is lovely. So, and it is $7 for 2 sheets. And you can get a bunch out of a sheet of paper. I will tell you that if you're making multiples of this, and I mean, depending how you want to do it, because you could make tags out of this, you could make cards out of this, but depending how you're doing it, if you cut a 4-inch strip, so 4 by 12, and then do this with the dies, and then like the next one would be upside down and then straight up, you can get 4 across a 12 by, believe me, I tried maximizing it. It doesn't work for the DSP or for the cardstock. If you're using cardstock, unless you have 12 by 12 cardstock, you have to kind of shift around a bit. But if you're making the extra little trays and stuff, you can just use the strips for that. But anyways, this is the paper. And it's white. And you say, but Tracey, your birdhouse is not white. No, you are correct. My birdhouse is not white. And that's because I got me some blending brushes. And there's probably different ways you could do this. You could probably spritz it. I wonder. Let's just see. Because I've already used this side, let's just have a little experiment here. I'm going to use the silicone mat so I don't end up with ink everywhere, and then wear it for the whole rest of the night. Yes, if you wanted a darker color, or if you had an ink spot would be so much more clean to do this with because it's smaller. But you could just rub your ink pad over top of your paper. Look how much darker that is. Oops, just a second. You could spritz, I think I said that. You could color it with coloring the watercolor crayons and then just kind of blend over top of it. Could you color it with your blends? Yes, you could. What would it look like? Well, give me a second to dry off my mess. Sorry, I gotta find somewhere to put the wet. I'm gonna find the same color blends. This is wet, so I'm trying to find somewhere to put the wet the wet wipe so that I don't end up putting it paper on it. Okay, so I've already colored this a little bit. You're going to see, but because this is the scrap piece, this is what I'm using. Okay, so what is this? This is the dark. So here's a knot. So I'm going to try the knot. And I'm just going to put some lines where the knots are. And I realize I've already colored this, but we're still, I think we'll still get the effect of what we're doing here. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Yeah. Okay, so there's another way to do it. Do this corner. That's coloring it. I reuse things. I don't like to waste it. There you go. So this was the blending brush. Here, look, we got all the samples at once. This was the blending brush. I'm going to show you that one in a minute. And I re-inked, so I think I can get it darker. This was just swiping your ink pad across it. This was the blends. And like I said, I'm pretty sure a marker, I find the markers to be a bit streaky. I will say that. What else did I say? Oh, watercolor pencils or spritzer. I think you got lots of ways you can color this thing. So here's what I did to get the color I wanted. Now, so this is my ink pad and my little blending brush. And I probably could have used a bigger blending brush because I was covering such a big piece of paper. But I just so love these little ones that once we got them, I barely used the big one anymore. Now, after I did this the first time, I went and re-inked my ink pad because I thought I just blended a whole bunch. I thought I better. So what I did before I even started cutting, because I wanted to make sure this was going to work, I know what I want to cut out, right? So this is going to be my house. This one's going to go this way, and then this one's going to go upside down. So I know that this corner is not actually going to have a house in it. So always, always, always with your blending brush, either tap it on your paper or start off your paper before you blend. Because if not, you get, like you tend to get, I don't want to do it because I don't have enough paper. It's unexposed. You tend to get big, like chunky blotches. You don't want that. So start off the paper. So yeah, see I did, and the trick with blending is you start small, you put a little bit on, right? And then you decide if you want more, and if you want more, you go back and you go over and you make it darker. So I could very easily, even just with my blending brush and a nice freshly inked pad, I could make this way darker. And I could, I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna sacrifice because sometimes this works and sometimes this does not. That's not too bad. I'm gonna put my little, because there's a knot here. I'm gonna just put a little bit around. But yeah, you can make it as light as or as dark as you want. So to me, I'm using gray granite. To me, this gave us the that old weathered barnwood. Oopsie, that's what I did. See, I didn't start. I just like tapped and then did it. And see, I got a big streak there that I didn't want. I think looking at it on the camera, it probably does not look like it. But the rest actually looks like what I want to, except for that part where I did that. And if you're not getting it exactly where you want, like I'm doing this because I'm going with the grain. So yes, it looks very blotchy when you look at it like that. But when you look at it up close, I purposely made this darker. This was my oops. But wherever my dark spots are now, I'm just going to go and I'm going to fill in between. So this one is going to be a lot darker barnwood. If I had wanted it the same lighter color though, even with my freshly inked ink pad, I can still get that lighter look. I just have to have a little bit lighter hand of my brushing. But as soon as you do that, it brings out the wood grain. Right? It's just cool. You could go in after this, a little bit of black and make it look like the bird one. And there's this fantastic Japanese word, koji something, where they burn the wood and it looks very cool. Anyways, you could do that. So, and there's nothing saying you have to make this look like barnwood. I mean, you could make this look like bright red wood or I think that like the pool party or summer splash, you know, in the papers when you see that like vibrant, you can make this whatever color you want it to be. It just gives it a wood grain, and it actually does have a little bit of texture. It's very cool paper. The one thing I noticed though, and you'll see when I put this other one together, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So this is the drawback to this paper. And I thought, no, I'm just going to leave it as it is because one, it's not bad. It's just different. But I needed to be able to like explain what I meant. So when you look at this birdhouse, oh my goodness, so cute. Oh my goodness, so cute. Now, if you're going to be super picky though, when you look in here, you're like, oh, it's white. Because the back of the paper is just plain white and it's not textured at all, right? So it's textured on the front. It's just flat white on the back. And I thought about it. I'm like, I could just brush it the same color and make, but I'm like, really, does the inside of the treat holder need to be the same color? When you look at the bird and when it's sitting there, you don't even notice it. Oops, I should put it where you can see it. It's not really what you notice because there's lots of little cute things to look at. So I don't think it's the end of the world. This one is just gray on the inside, right? Because the cardstock is gray. When I made these guys, I wanted it to be as close in color as possible. I didn't think that the DSP alone would be enough, but I also thought even if the DSP was strong enough to hold up to what I was doing, the backside of the DSP would be a totally different color. So with DSP, like that specialty paper, it's blank on the back, but with DSP, it's a different pattern on the back. So I thought, no, I have to cover it. So in the end, when I made these houses, I took my cutouts. So I cut, and you can put the paper, a piece of cardstock, and you can put your piece of DSP over top of it and your die, and you can cut both of these at the same time. So you still have to cut twice because you need a front and a back. I've lost the other piece of this, but that's okay because it goes to my point anyways. But you can cut both of them at the same time and then turn it like this so you can maximize your paper and do it again. Now, when you cut your 4-inch strip, I don't think I brought the paper up. I did not. Okay, I'll use this one. I wanted my wood grain going like this. Now, if I wanted my wood grain going like this, it's fine. You just need to make sure when you cut your paper or your DSP or whatever you're making this out of, what did I do with the cards? Oh, the card has a non-directional. Just cut your 4-inch strip, knowing that the birdhouse is going up and down on it. So if I wanted these boards to look like, there's no actual board distinctions here, although I could go on with a marker and I could make it look like boards or with my blends. I wanted them going up and down. So I cut my 4-inch strip across with the stripes. If I wanted it going like this, I would have had to cut my 4-inch strip this way off my piece, right? So same with the DSP, whichever direction you want it going, just make sure you cut it right. Because this one on the back is this, right? So this is not what I wanted to be on the inside of my house. So when you cut with the dies, you guys all know this, but it kind of curves your paper down and gives like this nice clean finish. So when I put my house together, so I'm actually going to put this house together, when I was gluing these two pieces together, and I'm using just the regular Tombow glue, I just have it in a little bottle with a finer tip on it that is just so much easier to get the glue out of. And then I just refill it. And I've shown you before, but my fancy little glue holder is, what was in this? Some kind of twine and a piece of cardstock stuck together. And I even added a little chunk of cardstock that I just stuck there. And now I have a needle in the side of it. So if I ever have to unjam it. So I put Tombow on the inside pattern. And I'm flipping my house so that the nice rounded edge is on the outside and the sharper edge is on the inside. So when I glue my two pieces together, and I get them all nicely lined up, something on my paper. There we go. I have a nice rounded edge going down this way and a rounded edge going down this way. So I have like the best of the dies are symmetrical because it works. So that's how I did the front of my house. Now in this case, because I have no idea where the other piece of paper is, and I used up all of mine plus all the stuff we bought for the event. So I don't have any more of this exact paper. So I'm just going to do like I did on this house. Nope, this isn't the one. This one I didn't decorate the back, but I put paper on the back. This one I'm just going to make it where the front is fully decorated and the back is just plain. partially out of curiosity and partially because I lost the other piece of paper. But I don't actually think it's going to matter. I think it's still going to have the same effect. I also think that if you wanted to, you could write, thanks for all your help, Tracey, on the back of this and give it to somebody. And then you got like a little signed thank you on the back. So I don't think it matters. Okay, so I did find that it was easier to decorate up the house mostly before I glued them together, and then I just finished. So when I was cutting, what did I do with my set? There it is. There's all these dies. So, oh yeah, I was going to show you something. So this big square one, oops. So this thicker one is this outside one. And you'll see it. I put this on there because I liked that little bit of contrasting color and because it covered the seam, because my seam was crooked. Then we have our little scallop piece. That's this one. That's a separate one. And then we have this little one here, the thinner one, which I'm going to show you something that I had here. But that's this little piece. So I had 3 pieces of roof line. And then I cut a separate, because I wanted a different color, I cut a separate little seed dish plus these. Now, you do have the option to cut out and make it like, so it looks like it's on a post. Or even add that to a card. I never added it to any of my cards. And then there's lots of flowers. So these are the flowers I put on the front. These are the flowers I put on the back. Actually, these aren't the flowers that I put on the back. I used the other bundle that's in this suite. It's called Country Flowers. I'm sliding off my chair. It's called Country Flowers, and it has very similar dies. It has leaf dies though, and then these flowers are very similar. I used these ones so that I could cut everything, or we didn't have to do as many cuts. So I was using those ones. And I used the extra leaves from there because they're exactly the same as this. So I was cutting all these pieces as I was going. Seriously, I've fallen off my chair just a sec. And now I just have to put them on together. So again, the easiest way to do this is with your Tombow. I used to, and I will say, my favorite adhesive is still tear and tape. And then glue dots. And now my third favorite would be just Tombow. But for certain projects, Tombow is the only way to go. And the beauty of this is you can put it where it's supposed to go and then slide it a little bit. So this one lines up perfectly. It covers right down to the edge there. So this little square there is the width of what I just put on. And right to the point, and it covers very nicely. Then the little scallop piece. And I did think about this because one of my other like absolute favorite necessity must-have adhesives is adhesive sheet. And you can put it on the back of your cardstock. Oh, look at that. I do have one. You can put it on the back of your cardstock. And this one just tucks in here. You can put it on the back of your cardstock. And then it basically makes everything into a sticker. So then you just peel off the back and stick it down. So you're looking at these little pieces, and you're looking at an even smaller piece, and you're saying, but Tracey, why did you not put adhesive backing on it? And this is why. So I was cutting out this piece. Oh, I was going to show you a trick, and I dropped it, and it popped out. So to put adhesive backing, I would have to put like this, which then means this is all adhesive backing, which I may or may not want adhesive backing here, just to get these little pieces. And so it didn't seem like a good use of my adhesive backing. And sometimes if the leaves are sticking past something, I want to be able to see green on the back, not white. And when you put the backing on it, it has white paper on it, right? So what I was going to show you until I dropped the thing and did it for me is these little dies. Most of them will pop out. I didn't have much trouble with these ones. They were popped out. But I noticed this one was more likely to get caught. And I found out that if you hold this like this and you just like snap your die, you will knock the paper out of it. And I mean, like, don't snap it to the point you're going to break it, but just give it a little thunk. Sometimes you can just like bounce them onto the desk and the die will fall out. So yeah, just give it a little flap and out it comes. I'm going to put it away so I don't lose it. The very first day when I got these, I was holding all these dies and I walked over to my die cut machine to start doing when I dropped one of the dies. Actually, I dropped 2 of the dies, and they landed on a recycle bag that I had because I had already started the process of cleaning. And I found one and I couldn't find the other. And I went like piece of paper by piece of paper through this half full recycle bag looking for that die. And it was sitting on like a little shelf nearby where it had bounced. But all I could think was, this is brand new and I've just lost one of the key pieces. Anyways, so this is what I meant. When you put those 2 pieces together, there's a little seam in the middle. Now, it actually makes sense that there's a seam there because on a birdhouse, you'd have the eave. They would have the, and this gingerbread trim would probably be recessed. So it shouldn't be like seamless. It should actually have a line. It would be recessed. So it's not the end of the world, but I wanted to add a hit of color. So this is like the soffit, or maybe it's a little eaves trough. Maybe I painted the edge. I don't know. But what I did find was, even with this teeny tiny thing, I took my little glue and all I did was put little dots in the corner and about a half an inch, centimeter, give or take, apart. And it was more than enough to hold this thing on. Now, with this one, because this was the one that was the floppiest for going everywhere, what I figured out was put the corner down and put your thumb on it. And then this will go right to the edge of the scallop. There we go. But I don't know, it flops all over the place, and I was getting glue everywhere the first couple of times I was doing it. So I found if I put my corner like in the joint there and then held it, I could easily make those go straight where I wanted to without glue everywhere. So this one, because I already have it, so I pre-did this. I cut these out and then I stamped on them so they'd all be ready to go. This one, same thing. There is actually a different colored little piece here because I wanted it to look like a darker wood that was added afterwards. But in this case, I just stuck a sentiment over top of it. I guess I can bring that down so you can see it. So there's different ways you could do it. But if you do want to put your thanks right on here, definitely do it before you start sticking it to stuff. And I did do one of them, the same thing. This is like you can see the finished edge and the rougher edge. And one of the ones I was stamping, I stamped on the wrong side of it. And it wasn't until I went to glue it on that I realized it. And I was like, So I can't do it with this one because I already did it. So that's another trick if you don't already know. That if you cut wrong, so let's say this is, I stamped on this side. So I have, it's like I said, it's slightly rounded this way and it's slightly straight this way. So all you have to do if you end up, or you're like doing something where you want to like mirror image or something, so you die cut it this way, but then you want to flip it over. All you have to do is run your bone folder over it like this. Right? Just go back and forth a couple times along the edge. Don't go like this, like vertical, and dig into it. Keep your bone folder horizontal. So all you're doing is smoothing the edge out without gouging, and it will take off a lot of that edge and make it so that it looks more like the finished side. The die that comes with the set, there's a little die here that makes I want to say a 3/4 inch circle, but it cuts out a hole in the middle. I don't know why. I don't know if the intent was, because most birdhouses, like there's a little hole so the bird can go into the house, and then usually just underneath there's like a little piece of dowel that the bird can rest on. And I don't know if this was intended to look like the dowel, but it's like right in the middle. Plus, I found that to be slightly smaller than I wanted. So what I did is I just took my old retired 1-inch punch, but we have all sorts of dies and punches of various different sizes that you could use. And I just punched out a piece. Or 40. Yeah, I had a little production line going. And in this case, I know I want this just going just like a little bit above where this roof line is. I know from having made the other ones, that's where I want that one to go. So I just put that much on. I'm going to show you because I took a picture of it because I was like, wow, that's a lot. What was I doing? The trick is not having so darn many pictures on the phone. So yeah, if you're, oh, there we go. If you're going to make 40 of these, just a minute, that's not the right picture. if you're going to make 40 of these, pre-cut. So I had pre-cut all my pieces and backs. The ones for this weekend I ended up using 3 different. These are for the attendees, and then these for the facilities people that I like that work at the building. We have the greatest buildings here, and the people that work there are so nice. So I always make treats for them. These are the little strips that I'm going to show you afterwards. That was the top piece. Those are like the roof pieces and all the holes and all the flowers. Pre-do it, and then when you get to the assembly, so much easier. Okay, so I did this side. So if you're going to decorate anything on the back, now's a good time to do it. So I'm not going to put the paper on, but I am going to put some flowers on the back. And then I'm going to put flowers and leaves on the front. Just a minute. And then I'm going to put my bird on the front. Oops, those are a little higher up than I thought they were. Now, you probably could put these on right now, but because I'm manhandling it a bit to do the next step, these are what I put on after I put the box together. Personal choice. You do what you want. I'm going to do it the other way. Okay, so this is the piece that you want in the end. This is what it's going to look like. Now I'm going to show you that this is why when I do this piece I actually cut the wrong size, so it's just a scrap. But I made it too small. That's the problem. I wasn't looking at my piece. Okay, so this is the piece we're making, right? Now, what you could do, I've notched out these corners where the folds are, right? So what you could do is you could go in and you could notch out these little corner pieces. And the reason you're doing that is so that when you put this into the box, like into the birdhouse, you've mitered out these corners so they well, it's not exact 45, but I eyeball just about everything, and I have a very impressive picture. I took that one too because I had 40 of these cut and stacked up, and when I stacked them up, there was very few of them that did not 100% line up because it doesn't matter. So I was just like boom, boom, boom. But really, you get the same kind of angle going, and you eyeball them every time. But if not, it's very bulky. Here, I'll show you the difference. So if we just cut these just on the seam, right, and we folded it over like this, I'll do it like this, maybe you can see better. You see how much more bulk there is there? So when you put this against the box, it's not going to lay as flat because you got layers going here, right? It's a little more bulky. When you do it this way, you've mitered it out. It's nice and flat. All of this is going to contact, and you're going to have a nice smooth finish with no gaps. So that's why we're doing this. Now, if we do this, excuse me, apparently I've hit puberty. My voice is changing. Okay, so if you do it this way, and then you try to put your tear and tape on. Now, if you're doing it with the white glue, you're okay. But when I'm making boxes and things like this, excuse me, all of a sudden there goes my voice. I use my tear and tape. But you notice, if I do it this way, because the tear and tape is square, look at all these big gaps that I'm missing, right? And to try to get it or to angle it, right, it just doesn't work. So to get this nice coverage, and I want like coverage right to the end, I want this thing to be as smooth and seamless and no gaps as possible. I just put my tear and tape across the whole piece, and then I notch it out. Yes, I sacrificed this little teeny bit of tear and tape. I'm good with that. So we do want to burnish our little folds though. And then this is actually sometimes the boxes are a little trickier to put together. This one is a little bit easier, just because of the way the thing is shaped. Multitasking, drinking, burnishing all at the same time. Okay, so this is our little connector piece that makes the box. Now you could make a full box that like had full sides on it and stick these pieces to it, but you don't need to. So I don't. So here's what I'm going to do. and you've seen me do this before. I'm a rebel. I live on the edge. I peel off all the backings all at once on this one side. I don't do both sides because that would be just crazy. Although I have in the past. It's not the end of the world. So I'm picking off the whole side. Now, here's how I do it. I'm eyeballing because that's what I do. So here's, I'll make it so you can see the bend. There you go. So this is what I'm doing. I just need to center this, and I want this to be right on the bottom. Now, if you had it past the bottom, this piece is big enough that it would hold up the weight of the birdhouse. But depending on what you're doing, you don't want it to start to sag or warp or whatever. Sometimes you have no choice. Here we go. My little teacher. Thank you, Apple. Sometimes you have no choice. There we go. And if you want to make a usable box, you have to make it bigger, and then you have these little pieces like this. But this is a small little apple, like by comparison to the birdhouse. There we go. And it just had a couple nuggets in it. So this one was fine. But if you're going to put something heavier in this one, or the bigger it gets, I like, whenever possible, to have this right against the bottom, right lined up. So I'm holding it like this, and I'm eyeballing it so that it's centered. And then I'm just very lightly going to stick it there. You could try doing it this way and line it up, whichever way works for you. Now I'm going to take these two pieces, and I'm going to put this corner here, and I'm going to put it flush on the edge, and I'm going to take this corner. And if you can do that and put those two corners, just mine are okay, and I'm just going to have to stick them down, or I'm never going to get them to stay there to show you what I want to show you. Okay, so I put it in the center along the bottom, and I haven't like pressed this down really hard yet, so it's good. And then I line up this piece here and this piece here, and I'm just kind of roughly lining it up. Now, if I can do that without any of it overhanging here, I win. If you're too far one way or the other, like noticeably too far one way or the other, it's going to show right in this corner. When you put these corners here, it's going to overhang here, and that's how you're going to know you're too far over and to push it back. But I know that I can't see my sides here. I got my bottom. I'm good. So now I'm going to take my little handy bone folder, and I'm going to press this down. And now I've got side one. So then we just go back and we take side two. And we're going to pop out. Just take the back off. So now, I don't know if it's the was all that throat clearing or what, but now now I have the hiccups. Okay, so now we need to put the back on. I use my fingers to kind of give me where the edge of the box is, and it somehow it just helps me. So I can look past here and I can see, but somehow by knowing that this is where the box goes, because my fingers are just like, they're just a little past when I do this. I'll exaggerate it so you can see what I mean. Normally they're like down here, but they're just past the edge of it, right? So I can feel where the edge of this box is supposed to fit in between my fingers. I can line up the bottom. I can make sure that this is just in between my fingers. And then before I 100% let go of it, and totally knock it sideways, I can just kind of eyeball to make sure that these edges, so this is, it's hard, I'm trying to do it on the camera, and which means I can't see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to turn it. Okay, so I'm using my fingers down this way, or you could use them the other way. I'm just kind of looking this way at these edges to see that they line up. And then same thing, make sure that this one goes here, this one goes here, nothing's hanging over. And then because my fingers are not long enough, I got stubby little mitts, I'm using my bone folder to go in and push down this side. So now I got it all pushed down. So now I've got my box, and it's off camera, but it stands. So that's how I did that. Then I put on my final front decorations. So my little bird, I put him first just because I didn't want the flowers to be too high. So I wanted him to look like he was standing on the little post in front of the little hole to the house. Now, and I realized in hindsight, if I had used the other one, the bird would have probably been mostly covering the hole that was in the middle of that die. But nonetheless, that's how I wanted it. He's popped up on dimensionals, so he looks like he's standing in front. These are the Smoky Slate, Basic Gray and Smoky Slate pearls. I used it I think I used most of the package to do the stuff for the event, the one we bought, and then a few of mine. I love these pearls. They're awesome. So I'm taking one of the big ones. These happens to be the dark gray one. And after, I found it was easier to do it after. After I put the bird down, I took this little guy and I just kind of tucked him under. So he's like a third of him is underneath the bird's feet. My fingers are long enough I can reach in here to push him down. So he looks like he's standing on the post. If you put it, the first time I had it like directly under his feet, and he was too much of the whole floating. So didn't like that. So there's my bird. And I'm going to leave these out because I'm going to use them again. So then I want to put some flowers on. So I'm going to, even though I did a whole bunch of them this weekend, and I pretty much roughly know where I'm going for the purpose of showing you guys, this is what I wanted. I wanted to put my flowers like this, and then I wanted to have a couple of leaves coming out. And now, and this is two things. I wanted cute, like 3 flowers. I like things in threes. So I wanted my 3 flowers. These are the 3 dies that go together. And I did not want to have to cut 2 passes of the die cut machine to get a big and 2 small. So I wanted to use this little guy because that's 1 pass. That was like just conserving the energy. If you're only making 1 birdhouse, whatever, it's not a big deal. You run 2 passes through. But when you're making 40 of them, it's a big deal to have to do it twice. So I just did it with these 3. So then I had to put this one up a little bit because in my mind, this one had to be resting on something. And because I don't have a branch going across the bottom of this, it needed to rest on the house. And then I just wanted to put some. Now, here's the 2 things that you have to keep in mind. The first one, I was good. I didn't do this once. I knew I had to watch for it, and I was totally fine. Is you want to make sure that however you design this, that nothing goes past the bottom of the box. Because if it does, when you go to set your box down, you're going to hit the flower, and you're either going to keep bending everything, or your box is going to be leaning or fall over. Depending how big of whatever it is that's hanging over, it might not even stand up. So even these ones, like there's little gaps and stuff along the bottom, but nothing goes past the bottom of the box. It can stick out on either side and up, just not past the bottom. The other thing you want to do is you want to kind of figure out where you're going to put them, lay them out enough, so that when you put the final leaf in, and like I said, I did this probably 3 times going, the leaf doesn't cover part of your thanks. So make sure you plan for that too. So what I found was easiest was to put the leaves. Okay, I got it figured out. I'm going to move these leaves slightly. But I'm going to hit them 3 more times before I'm done, so that's fine. So I did this one first. So I left the leaf, and I just popped, because I'm doing it here, I'm going to knock it. I just popped a dab of glue over top where I wanted it. Now this glue gives me a little bit of time, so I'm good. And I popped it on, and then I had a little bit of time to adjust. But that way I didn't have to like lose place of where my flower was going, because the leaf was being my placeholder for me. So same thing on this one. I want this one to go like this. I'm going to actually put this way. Okay, so I want my flower like this. So I'm going to hold on to my leaf, because I'm basically, the flower is holding the leaf on, but the glue's, so it doesn't matter that the glue's over top of instead of underneath the leaf. I'm still going to hold it on. And I'm going to put my flower there. And then I want that one just a little bit down. There we go. And this one I got 2 leaves, but technique works the same. If there's more on it, you just put like a slightly bigger drop. There we go. I'm going to put this guy over top. Just got to give it just a bit, like, because that might have been a touch too much glue, but that's okay. There we go. So again, nothing goes past the bottom, and don't cover up your sentiment. There we go. Now, because I like things in threes, I have one big pearl here. I put, let's make sure which one's which. I need to put my 2 little pearls in the middle of my flowers. One, because it makes the flowers have a little bit of a finished look. And because then now I have 3. Except for this one, I missed this, totally missed the center. And it's falling off. There we go. Right, so now I got my 3. Now, funny enough, I think it still works on this one. because this one is kind of like tucked up in there. But this one, because I was putting the happy birthday here, I didn't want a flower there. So I put 3 flowers here, which meant 3 little pearls. But because you can barely see this guy, I think it still works. And it's my birdhouse and I can do what I want. Okay, put those away. And so then once the front was done, and I'm just watching because these are all freshly glued, right? I did the same thing on the back. And I just, like I said, it was kind of plain. And I just wanted to add a little something. So this was like little flowers growing up the back. You could write on it. You could whatever. I don't mind that this is completely blank. Looks like I must have glue on my nail because the flower keeps sticking to my nail. So why do I keep putting that same nail there? Oh, I don't know. But I just thought this finished it. So even without, where'd my other one go? So even without having like patterned paper on the back and a couple little flowers, even with it being just plain on the back, I think it still works. Or if you really want to, like I said, fully decorate the entire back. Put the trim, put the seed tray, put the paper, put everything. So yeah, that's where I'm going to put mine. Now in this case, I was not being quite as particular here. So I just put a big gabadoo and put my leaf in it. And then I put my flower over it. Actually, and yes, I did it holding the thing. I was going to say I probably could set it down, but it might be less moving if I set it down. So when I was doing them, because I had just freshly glued the ones on the front, I was basically holding them in my hand and gluing on the second flower, which is why I was doing it. So just sort of random, stick some dots there kind of thing. And we'll put this guy here. And we'll pop a little piece here. Yeah. See? I just think it gives it a nice little finish to have just a couple flowers on the back. Now, the reason I didn't put these on at the beginning is because as I was putting all the stuff and squeezing and putting it down in bone, like using the bone folder to hold the adhesive on, I realized these are glued flat, but I figured I was going to be squishing my flowers. And they're not real, I know, but somehow it made me think I shouldn't do that. So anyways, there's my birdhouse. So I will post a picture of this, but if you don't have the patience to wait, here, screenshot that. I used it all. So this is my strip. The strip is 1.5 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches long. And then I just scored, I wrote the measurements a certain way, but when I do this, I score in 3/8, in 3/8, down 2, up 2, and I was done. And then that's your score lines, and then you just miter out the corners. So it folds nice. So 1.5 inches by 5 1/4, 3/8 inch in here. That gives, this is 3/4 wide is what you're going for. And then these are 2-inch sides with a 1 1/4 inch in the middle. Okay, but I'll take a picture of that and put it on the post. How am I doing on time? Oh my good Lord, it's like I know what I'm doing. It's 8:01. All right, put the lid on your glue so that you can get glue out of it in the future. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the birdhouse extravaganza from Extravaganza. Look at all these different color combinations. Some of the color combinations are purposeful. There was a couple this weekend that it had like a blue bird and a pink flower and something, because I just wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. But anyways, there we go. These ones are pretty much the same, so we'll take that one out. There you go. Couple different patterns for you, a couple different bird houses. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget today's free shipping. You still have till like 11:59 tonight to get in your free shipping order. If you need to know about any of the other classes or stuff coming up, you want to register for Extravaganza, you want to get the PDF, the paper pusher at shaw.ca, drop me a line and I will hook you up. Thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic Tuesday, and I will be back on Friday. Take care. Bye.